Hello everyone, my name is Shadia Mirmabini and I am your instructor for this course. I'm delighted to have you all in this class and I'm looking forward to getting to know each and every one of you in the course of this semester. I would like to begin the first lecture by talking a little bit about the subject of art history and perhaps share with you why and how we study art history. By doing this, I will also be sharing my own perspective as an art historian with you. I'm hoping this will help you to get to know me better since we will be working together over the next few months. At the same time, this brief introduction can provide us with a firm ground upon which we can build with more facility what will be presented in the upcoming weeks. The first question I would like to address is the question of why. Why art history? I think you should know you are taking an art history class from someone who is a staunch advocate of the necessity of art and art education as an essential part of the educational system. The reason is because I don't buy into the argument that art is an element of luxury or something we should have around just to give us pleasure. I look at art and its history as tangible documents of human endeavors from which we can learn, and if successful, apply to current situation to achieve new and fresh experiences. So you see, this way, art history can be very much about the present and not just the past. Now, having said this, I must also say that art as well as art history are considered part of the field of humanities, therefore subject to different interpretations. We know this about art, particularly contemporary art, that recognizes the role of the viewers and welcomes their opinions. However, we may not think of the art produced by the people of the past the same way. To us, the art from the past is beautiful and tantalizing. We often lament over the techniques that are now lost and wish we could revive them. We are also astonished when visiting historical artifacts at the museums, and we dream of having or owning a piece of it in our own homes. The perspective I would like to introduce you to in this class, however, is a different one. I think it is not enough to become awestruck by works of art. Instead, we should learn to be more critical. We must study its background or context, its place of origin or provenance, along with the original audience, objectives behind its production, etc. We should also be asking a lot of questions and not take anything for granted. Okay, let's get back to the topic at hand. The answer to the what question, the subject of this class, is the art of the Islamic cultures. A good part of the introduction in your text is spent on providing you with the stage and backdrop against which we will be viewing works of art and architecture. I know so many of you are so excited to learn more about the art, and you are envisioning gazing at image after image of dazzling beauty revealed in the examples of art. But once you start reading the text, perhaps you will think, why do we need to know about the fundamentalism in Islam? What do Islamic religious tenets have to do with the beautiful paintings, for instance, that we recognize as Islamic? What is this about the theory of unity of existence? What does any of this have to do with the art? I hope through the lectures I can provide you with supplementary information to the book so that when you read your text, it will be easy to understand why we have to learn about what I have listed in the course outcomes for you. First, we must all be aware that art is never created in vacuum. There's always a context. Take Christian art, for example. Why do we study the information about the history of Europe before and after the Roman power diminished and Christianity rose as a political power? Why is there so much biblical reference in the Western art history? More specifically, why do we need to know all the highlights of Jesus' life, from nativity to flight to Egypt to presentation at the temple to crucifixion and resurrection? because all of these named examples are not just part of Jesus' life, but also subjects and titles influential in the art that is produced. Studying this information falls under the contextual study of art. The other aspect of art we are interested in as art historians is the formal study. Formal study focuses on the subject's appearance. It evaluates technique, medium, and aesthetic qualities. The art from other cultures or religions are no exception to this. These set of parameters and the same kind of relevance therefore apply to all works of art we study in art history. Art history provides us with opportunities to ask critical questions. Considering this, then the most important question we must ask here is that why all religions, one way or another, have been so influential in the production of the art. Anywhere in the world that we go, any culture or religion that we study, demonstrates a significant amount of resources dedicated to the production of what we call art. Why? Art history can help us come up with possible answers to questions such as this and assist us to develop and sharpen our critical thinking skills along the way. Isn't this what we want from higher education? This course will be focused on examining art of the Islamic lands while studying Islam as a culture, as a religion, and its philosophy, although I have come to learn the philosophy part is another sort of art that is produced post-Islam, like all other art forms. And finally, as a different perspective, we will be tackling issues such as the problem of the term quote-unquote Islamic in Islamic art, and that how the art that is created looks more like pre-Islamic traditions than what Islam advocated. We will be looking at works of art not to ooh and ah, but to ask questions and to be critical about all we hear, read, and see. So please bear with me while I lay out as much as I can for you in order to provide you with the whole picture. You will be able to have an informed opinion only after you have gathered as much information as possible about the topic. So the necessity of studying this subject comes from the mutual impact and contributions between the Islamic and other cultures. Humans have been moving around and exchanging ideas for centuries. Also, we must be aware of the place of Islam within the other two Abrahamic religions, or rather traditions, Judaism and Christianity, when we study the art and culture. The close tie between each religion and the region of Middle East is a significant one as well. And finally, considering Islam as the third and last of the Abrahamic traditions, what was different about it? The art certainly appears distinct. What contributed to this distinction? The objective of this course then is to learn through studying the art and architecture of the Islamic regions, the historical and philosophical background influencing the production of the art in order to better recognize the characteristics identifiable as Islamic. We will also learn the importance of the contextual impacts on the production of the art. This course will also provide you with art historical methods and critical studies that are useful tools to have in order to further develop skills needed to appreciate, understand, and evaluate the art we study on a more advanced level. Our first issue is the very title of the quote-unquote Islamic in Islamic art. How do we identify the art as Islamic in a religion that, contrastingly to Christianity, does not prescribe the production and veneration of any object as part of the religious rites? Why was its name given as an identifier of the art? How did such distinct art develop in such a short period of time? What role did power and religion play in the production of art in the Islamic lands? We will find the answers to these questions and many more throughout the semester, but I would like to show you a few images identified as or associated with Islamic art that were under Islamic rule at one time. On this slide at top left, you see, of course, the Hagia Sophia church that became the most influential model for mosques. Below, there are a couple of images from the Great Mosque at Damascus that is actually, again, a remodeled church itself built on the site of a Roman temple. The image to the right of it is the detail from its mosaic work, which is typical Byzantine, with the exception of its non-living imagery. Finally, on the top right, a painting from Herati's school from Timurid period that clearly appears Asian in style. The next two examples are from what we shall call Western Islamic regions. The banner of Las Navas de Tolosa, won by the Spanish king Ferdinand III from the North African Berbers, and the sculpture of a mythical creature from Mediterranean region, both display different characteristics than the previous examples, nonetheless identified as Islamic, even though they reveal the presence of many pre-Islamic artistic elements. Therefore, the problem of the label Islamic here becomes apparent, since we just saw it has been applied to artworks from different regions and different times. There's also another issue, and that is how we understand the word Islamic today. In this sense, it carries with it the contemporary political and religious weight and experience that can impact our views. Finally, the presence of myths, such as the figurative imagery, is forbidden in Islam, while, as you are aware, there are plenty of examples around that do include figures. The different components of art as a product of a culture reflect aspects of that culture. By learning about all of these aspects, we can develop a better understanding of that culture. I would like to end by pointing out the fact that my method in authoring this course and its text has been a non-ethnocentric one. I have tried to provide a holistic perspective that reflects a sense of connection rather than separation. Moreover, my approach has been non-religious, meaning in this course I am not interested in Islam as a religion, but in scholarly terms that are unbiased and neutral. What intrigue me are findings that separate facts from fiction and put things in their proper perspective. This week, read the preface and introduction of your text after you listen to the lecture. Next week, we will begin with some historical background to the art, culture, and politics of the time. See you next time.